What's up, you guys? It's your boy, Chef Tone from KeepMeChef. What's happening, y'all? What's up with you today? It's storming. It look like it's gonna storm outside, so I thought maybe I'd just sit and shoot a video because I got a lot of stuff planned this week. The ingredients I'm gonna give you for the recipe today, stirring it up. We're gonna talk about leadership, and that's real talk, leadership. And I was looking up leadership. I took a lot of classes on leadership. And what I'm going to talk about is going to lean more towards the men than women. I'm not saying that what I talk about has nothing to do with women and that you can't use this in your life as well. But the reason why I want to talk about leadership is because a lot of our young men out there are not being led by leaders. They just not. And it's not something I'm making up. It's not something that I'm talking about. It's not something that, I'm just making it up. A lot of our great leaders are gone. They've been taken from us. You got a lot of men out there that are lost, that, they don't know anything about leadership. And so today I'm going to talk about leadership, and hopefully this can help somebody that's trying to find his way, some young man that's out there that's trying to find his way when it comes to leadership. For me, I've always been a leader. I've always been one. I've never been a big follower. They say the best leaders are the best followers, which it is true. In order for you to learn how to lead, you must first learn how to follow. But what if you don't have anybody to follow? What do you do in that case where you don't have anybody to follow to teach you how to be a good leader? So today, I'm going to give you my thoughts on when you don't have anybody leading you, how do you become a leader? I can tell you like this, a lot of structural words that I'm going to use, a lot of things is going to refer from the Bible. I'm not trying to get religious or anything like that. But a lot of leadership is in there. And when you take from there, it can teach you how to be a great leader. It teach you how to be a leader. So here's my thoughts on if you want to be a leader, but you don't know how, or you don't have anybody leading you. And it is, if you're going to lead anybody first, the first person that you should lead is yourself. And that is true. The first person that you should be trying to lead is yourself. Because if you can't lead yourself, how are you able to lead others? If you can't lead yourself, how are you able to lead others? And I think that's what we're missing in our young men today is we're not producing leaders. We're producing a lot of followers. All you got to do is look at the music industry, or you look at the film industry. You just look at what society is putting on our young men today, and how they turning out where everybody looks the same now. I mean, you look in the magazines, all the women look almost the same. You look on TV, everybody look almost the same. You look in fashion, everybody want to dress the same. You look in music videos, everybody want to look the same. You go and look in rap videos, everybody almost look the same. They're rapping the same, they're dressing the same, they doing everything. Their styles is pretty much the same. They wearing their hair is the same. If you look at it, you'll see where we have more of today's society of people are being more followers than leaders. Just because you got a lot of people behind you or a lot of people following you don't necessarily mean you're a great leader, because you could be following somebody else and they just following suit. So I think in order for you to become a great leader, you must start with yourself. In the home, when there's a man and a woman in a home, somebody has to lead that home. It's not necessarily where one person has to be above another person. If you got too many chiefs and not enough Indians, how the work going to get done? Somebody's got to lead that. If you look at the structure as a hotel, and once I explain it, you'll get it more. A hotel has a president, it has a vice president. That vice president and vice president running that hotel. they have VPs under them, which are over departments. In them departments, they have directors. And under those directors, you have GMs. And under them GMs, you have assistants, you have managers. And then under those managers, you have supervisors. Under them supervisors, you have lower line employees. Okay? But everybody has a role to play. But in that role, you can still be a leader in them roles that you play. So if you say, for instance, I'm a supervisor, I have a manager, I have a general manager, so on and so on. But I can lead as a supervisor because you have other supervisors. You're leading people under you. So when you're leading the people under you, you have to be the best that you possibly be to set an example for those people. In your home, if you're a man and you have a wife and you have children, you are supposed to be the leader of that home. And the reason why you're supposed to be the leader of the home, because that's what God instituted for man to be. It's not taking nothing away from women. I'm not saying women can't be leaders in their homes. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, and I'm talking to men in general, because a lot of women that have children don't have men. So they have to learn as well how to teach their son how to be a leader. And a lot of women feel that because they're not a man, they can't teach their son how to be the leader. You can teach, a woman can teach a man how to be a leader. Yes, she can. If she follows the pattern that has already been set for man by God, they'll be able to do it. And the way you do that is you allow that man, you allow that young man to take the role of manship in that home. Meaning that you show him how to pay bills. You show that man how to make sure the home is secure. You show that young man how to take care of home first and what his responsibility is and what his roles is, and let him step into those rules. You don't have to force him into it, but you can walk him and guide him through that. And if he can't do it, you do it with him so he can see and start learning how to be the man of the house. Start allowing him to sit down and pay bills with you. Allow him to go to the bank with you and do transactions. Allow him to pick things at the grocery store, sit down and write a list with him and stuff like that. Show him how to take out the trash. Show how to clean up behind himself. Ask him to check and make sure is everything done. Did you miss something? Go and check. Those are the ways that a woman can do to help her young man become a leader, become a man in his life as he grows up. I looked at some of the leaders of the past, and I watched them. You know, I watched Martin Luther King. I watched Malcolm X. I looked at some of the leaders that we have of today, which ain't that many. You know, a lot of them has been taken away. Leadership doesn't mean it has to be somebody that's better than everybody. That's not what leadership means. You could be the leadership of your life. You don't have to be the leadership of the world. You don't have to be the leader of the neighborhood. You don't have to be the leader of the block. You don't have to be the leader of none of that stuff. But you should be a good leader of yourself. Meaning that you should be leading yourself in the right direction, going down the right path. Because you can be a leader and stay in your own lane. You can do that. And I encourage men today to start taking the more role, the higher role of more being a leader instead of a follower. And that's why a lot of our young men are failing today. That's why a lot of them, you know, they're just taking anything in because they're looking for leadership. One person can't do it. You can try. You know, you can put you on TV and like Barack Obama and like, oh yeah, he's president, he's leader, you know. But why do we have to do all that when we can do it right in our very homes to teaching our sons and how to be great leaders? And a lot of that has to stem of you, the person that I'm talking to, is what is your part is what are you doing to show yourself as a good leader for somebody to follow to become a good leader. Now, I say it again. It said in order to become a good leader, you must first become a good follower. Yeah, that's true. It is true. But if you don't have someone to follow, then start leading yourself. Start with yourself. Look at yourself. Are you leading your life right? Are you treating people right? Are you treating yourself right? Are you being the best person that you can possibly be? Because a great leader is shown by his character. That's what a great leader is. And in order for you to become that, you have to evaluate yourself. You have to look at yourself. Don't worry about what other people's opinions are. Don't worry about what somebody else is doing. Don't think because everybody's doing that's the right thing to do and that's what you should be doing, because all you're doing is you're going to always be a follower, always following. You waiting on somebody else to make a move because you don't know how to make one. You waiting for somebody else to stand up and speak because you don't know how to speak. You waiting for somebody else to react so you can act. And that's the life that you should not be living. There's nothing, absolutely nothing, that says that you have to always follow somebody. You can be a good leader. And the way you be a good leader is start with yourself. I talked about being real and honest with yourself and looking in yourself. See what your life is. Take a step back and see, are you actually being a leader or are you being a follower? Do you got to run and follow everybody to the club? Do you have to run and be somewhere because everybody else is going? You know, who's the first one to start things when you go to it? Do you ever put in your 2 cents and say, hey, you know what? Why don't we try this? Or why don't we try that? A good leader don't always have to stand out all the time. A good leader is somebody that's leading properly, that knows their direction, knows what they want, and knows what they won't accept. So today I'm just talking about leadership. How to be a good leader. How do you do that? Where do I start? Where do I begin? A lot of those questions can't be answered because there's nobody there to answer it. So I'm going to try to answer it. Maybe there's other people out there that can give you different answers than me, but I'm just telling you as far as what I've done all my life. All my life, I've been a leader. All my life. There's nobody can say they led me into nothing. Nobody. Everything I did on my own. Everything I did, I wanted to do. Everything I did, majority of the things that I did, I initiated it. It's because I didn't see the sense in following somebody. Because I watched a lot of TV. I ran the streets a lot. And I used to watch people and sit back and watch other people make fun of people when they was in leadership. Like, and tell me if I'm wrong if you never saw this, where you had a lot of friends and there was just maybe 2 or 3 friends that's just like, they was like the crowd setter. They was just like, when they showed up, everybody showed up. And then they would make fun of different people in the group, and everybody would laugh at them. And I know it hurt it. But they kept that control, and people were afraid to say anything. Nobody wanted to be the next person to be talked about. You know, so they went along with everything. Whatever they did, they followed. Because they didn't want to be the person standing out and get talked about, get laughed at, or ridiculed because they didn't follow them. That's not the type of leadership that you want in your life. That's not the type of leadership that I'm talking about. I'm talking about a leadership where you can make your own decisions on things. I'm talking about a leadership where you can stand up to somebody and can disagree and not afraid to disagree. I'm talking about that leadership where you make your own choices. You make your own decisions. If you can't be the leadership over people, you can't be the leadership over anything, then be the leadership over yourself. Be the leadership over yourself and your own destiny. That's what you do. And when you become that leadership over yourself and your own destiny, it would encourage you to get more stronger, to be more thoughtful, and to be more understanding and understand the role as a leader. So when somebody else is looking at you or when somebody else is coming to you for leadership, you're able to give them that leadership quality because you learned how to lead by example by leading yourself. And everybody can do that. You may not be good at leading 20 people or 30 people or 100 people or even 5 people. But I promise you, you could be a great leader at leading yourself. Now, if you start at being a great leader yourself, that's where you can get your training in, because you're able to write things down. If something didn't work, you can write it down and say, you know what, I tried this, I made this decision, it didn't work. I said, next time I'm gonna try this and see if this works. That's you working things out. That's you getting yourself better. That's getting yourself stronger and to think more on the decisions and the things that you do. Leadership is a respectable position to have. So when you're leading yourself, you're in a high position because you're leading yourself. That's why you ever led anybody? Yeah, I led myself. Because when you leading yourself and you see all your faults, your shortcomings, and your success, that will help you become a better person. Every time you'll be getting better and better and better. And I looked at some great leadership and I was like, and I never thought about it, but when Nipsey Hussle passed away, I looked at his life. I didn't know too much about him. I met him, but I never knew too much about him. But after I saw what his analogy was on what he wanted in his life, there you go. He was like, I know I was doing all this, but this is not working for me. But he's trying to find his way, so he just started with himself. You understand what I'm saying? He started with himself. And it got him to a higher level in life. And that's what we all should be doing. To make ourselves better, we need to start leading ourselves first before we run around trying to lead other people. Especially when we're not leading right. And we had no training, no type of training in leadership. Don't even know, half people don't even know how to spell it. And if you ask them, what do a leader mean to you? They just look at somebody else. But what I can tell you is leadership is a quality that we all should have. Leadership is something that is not just subject to just certain people. It's not. Any and every person can be a leader. You can just be a leader in your own lane. And they say, yeah, too many chiefs, not enough Indians. Indians can still be leaders. They may not be chiefs, but they still can be a lead. Lead in what you do. Lead in the way you handle your business. Lead in the way you operate. Lead in the way you treat people. Lead in the way of how you allow people to treat you. And that's my son. I told him to take a nap, but I'm gonna deal with him after the video. Yeah, that goes to show some leadership. I told him to go take a nap, and he up looking at me. He know I ain't gonna get up because I'm doing a video, but don't worry about it. I'm gonna show him some leadership when I get through with the video. Anyway, but yeah, leadership is a great topic to bring up, and this is for men to talk to your sons. Ladies, you can talk to your sons about it. You can also talk to your daughters about it. The reason why I'm more focused on men, because we need men to stand up and be leaders. We need them to be leaders because we're losing our youth. We're losing everything right now when it comes to them. And what we need are great leaders out there. And my advice to you when it comes to leadership is to start with yourself. Lead yourself. And as you start to lead yourself and making smarter decisions on what you want to do and how you want to do things, when people start bringing stuff up to you, it's not going to settle right with you because you're going to seem more of a follower than a leader. Sometimes you need to speak up. Sometimes you need to set the tone. Sometimes you need to organize it. Sometimes you need to put it together. And I know sometimes it can be scary, but if you don't try it, how would you know what type of person you are? So my advice is to you, and I'm gonna give this to you, and I want it to resonate in you. And I like using that word, resonate. I like that. Vibrate in you. I like for things to vibrate in you. And it is leadership. Start putting that on your mind. When you're going out to the club and you're going to get drunk and you want to go get high, you want to go right here and do all this with these other guys or women or whatever you want to do, start looking at leadership when you get together with other people and see how that turns out. Where you always go and somebody's leading all the time. Allow yourself to lead. You try to lead. And when you do that, you'll find yourself getting better and better and better and making smarter decisions on how to lead your life in the right direction. Or being able to teach your son how to be a good leader. And like I say again, make sure that you're leading them in the right direction. I told you to take a nap, didn't I? When I get through, I'm going to lead you, okay? So anyway, that was my thing on leadership. Stop, okay? That's my thing on leadership, and I'm urging the men out there to please start teaching your sons how to be good leaders and how to make smart decisions. And you do that by showing them how you lead yourself. And when you do that, I promise you, you'll start to see very good results. You'll start to see change. You'll start to see your young men start to be more productive as far as standing up for themselves and speaking for themselves and learning how to lead. And that's what we're missing in our young men today. It's leadership. And that's one of the things that I try to do and instill in my children, and not only my boys, but also my girls, to not be followers. There's nothing wrong with you following somebody to learn something. I'm not saying you cannot follow somebody, but I'm saying that is not what your destiny is. Your destiny is to be a leader. And if it's not of the free world, if it's not of the city or the block or the nation, whatever, but you can be a good leader of yourself. And that's what I recommend you to do as far as leadership, is to start being a great leader of yourself. And if you start on that and you start doing that and start being a good leader of yourself, I promise you, you'll never fail. You'll never come out on the bottom. It'll make your life a whole lot better to make sure that the decisions and the way you do things will begin to make sense to you. It will begin to be better for you, and you'll feel more comfortable about yourself, knowing that you're not a follower. You're not running around and following behind other people. You're not just going to accept anything, because you're going to start making better decisions in your mind and in your heart. Because a lot of our kids today follow rappers. I don't have nothing against rappers. I don't. But because of all the things that's been going on with rap today, with the killings and with the way they represent and leading our youth today, I need to see more leadership out of them before I start supporting all that. I listen to rap music, but as far as throwing my money at it and all of that stuff, I don't do that anymore, because I need to see more of positive leaderships out of them to help our youth, because a lot of them don't have fathers. They don't. A lot of them, their homes, the man is missing. I may not be where my kids are at, but I am still the leader of my children. I can promise you that. That's one thing I am, because if they need anything, they call me, Dad, what do you think about this? And I give them different scenarios, and I said, what do you think you ought to do? What would be the best scenario for you? I don't just give them the answer. I ask them the question, and they actually come up with good answers. So now they think more for themselves to make better decisions. And I don't have to worry about my child being easily sucked in by somebody else, because they there, they see them. I don't want them to think that that's what leadership is. I want to be an example for my children so they'll know what a great leader is. And the only way I can do that is to start leading myself and leading by example. So I hope this helps any man out there that has a kid that's struggling with leadership, struggling on how to teach their son how to be a leader. Start with yourself first. Read books on leadership and find you somebody that you know that is a great leader, and follow behind them and learn how to be a good leader, so you can break off and start being a leader so people can follow you and learn how to be a good leader. And that's my take on leadership. So I hope you guys like and subscribe. Can't wait to see you guys again on the next recipe. Okay, you guys have a good day.